Welcome to today's analysis. So imagine for a second that you're descending into the absolute pitch black depths of the ocean. Down there, the environment is just completely hostile. I mean, zero sunlight, and it's governed by these immense crushing forces. But hidden in this extreme darkness is a mystery that totally challenges the very foundations of what we think we know about the materials in our world. It's a story of incredible, borderline impossible engineering found in the absolute unlikeliest of places. Seriously, I want you to just completely toss out everything you assume about how fragile glass is. We all know human-made glass, right? We deal with it every single day. If you drop it, it shatters into 1,000 dangerous little pieces, and it absolutely fundamentally cannot bend, right? Well, right now, hundreds of meters deep on the ocean floor, there is a glass structure that actively flexes, gracefully bends, and literally just does not break. It completely defies our everyday logic. It's this mind-bending paradox, and we absolutely have to figure out how it works. Section 1. The Secret of Unbreakable Glass. Okay, let's dive right into this deeply fascinating mystery and venture deep underwater to uncover exactly how this impossible material actually exists. Let me introduce you to the main subject of our source material. It's called the Euplectella aspergillum. Basically, it's a glassy, deep-sea sponge that lives hundreds of meters down on the ocean floor. And at that extreme depth, the water pressure is it's almost unimaginable. We're talking about enough pressure to instantly crush a modern nuclear submarine like it was an empty aluminum soda can. Yet, in this incredibly brutal environment, this delicate-looking, intricate little sponge doesn't just survive, it thrives. And, this isn't just some neat little biological curiosity. It's a profound structural marvel. Researchers over at Harvard University actually published their findings in the prestigious journal Nature Materials, and they showed that this sponge's glass lattice has a higher strength-to-weight ratio than the traditional lattice designs we use to build our skyscrapers and suspension bridges today. To put that into perspective, a strength-to-weight ratio basically measures how incredibly much load a material can bear compared to how incredibly light it is. Achieving a high strength-to-weight ratio is the absolute holy grail in demanding fields like aerospace engineering, where every single ounce matters, but you still need immense strength to survive the violent forces of flight. Moving on to Section 2, Nature's Perfect Engineer. So how exactly does a simple, totally brainless deep-sea sponge completely outperform modern human engineering? Let's take a closer look at what is literally a masterclass in biomechanics. Professor Joanna Eisenberg from Harvard rigorously analyzed this glass lattice, and she discovered 7 distinct structural arrangements all working perfectly together. I mean, this is not random. It features helical ridges specifically designed to prevent lateral crushing. It's got heavily reinforced intersections right at the high-stress joints. And honestly, perhaps most brilliantly of all, the sponge selectively places crossbars to reinforce the overall structure, but it only does this in the exact mathematical squares that absolutely require it. It's a system of total, absolute efficiency. It doesn't waste a single microscopic drop of material. To really put this extraordinary strength into perspective, Professor Eisenberg herself noted that, quote, you literally have to jump on this glass cylinder to create a crack. Just think about how wonderfully absurd that visual is. We are talking about a natural, hollow structure made entirely out of biological glass, yet it's so robustly and perfectly engineered that it could withstand a full-grown human being jumping up and down on it without cracking or shattering. No way, right? But it's true. And this brilliantly illustrates a rather humbling reality for modern science. Just as Dr. James Weaver from the research team points out, we have been researching the skeletal systems of these sponges for over 20 years, yet they continue to surprise us. Even after 2 full decades of really rigorous, intensive study, using literally the most advanced imaging and computational tools we have, some of the top scientific minds in the world are still just completely baffled by its structural perfection. But wait, the structural miracles don't even stop there. Researchers at Brown University decided to zoom in on the tiny, hair-like glass appendages that actually anchor this sponge to the muddy ocean floor. And what did they find? Exactly 25 concentric glass cylinders. These cylinders are nested super tightly inside one another, basically like the layers of an onion or a Russian nesting doll. And the thickness of these nested cylinders actually decreases from the center moving outward. This astounding level of microscopic complexity is exactly what allows these glass tethers to bend incredibly deeply under the pull of harsh ocean currents without ever snapping. Section 3, Human Mind versus Nature.
This brings us to a pretty humbling crossroads in our exploration today. It's actually kind of ironic when you stop and think about the vast resources we have at our disposal.
I mean, we've got giant supercomputers, massive research budgets, advanced engineering degrees, yet we are still playing catch-up with a sea sponge. While human engineers constantly struggle with fragile glass and rely on these heavy, cumbersome lattice systems to build lightweight spacecraft or long-spanning bridges, this simple sponge effortlessly applies a vastly superior system to resist deep ocean pressure and stop cracks right in their tracks. We're actively trying to copy these exact natural designs just to improve our own modern architecture. But the crucial, inescapable point here is that nobody ever taught this sponge how to do this. It operates with this untaught, innate mastery of structural efficiency that we can barely even imitate. Section 4. Who owns this design? As our source material shifts its methodology from purely scientific observation into a deeper philosophical reflection, we naturally arrive at the ultimate question behind all of this data. The text poses a very direct, logical question that arises from everything we've just uncovered. Who designed this perfect glass structure? Our source material outlines a really clear progression here, acknowledging that since human beings are only just now discovering and painstakingly trying to mimic this flawless engineering, the original perfect design obviously doesn't belong to us. It actively forces the reader to look beyond human capability. The methodology of our source text answers this question by drawing upon a specific religious framework. It quotes the An-Nal Surah, verse 48, which asks, "Have they not considered what things Allah has created?" The author uses this verse to emphasize a deeper, underlying call to action for the reader, to look past the surface level, to truly see the mechanics of the world, and to think deeply about the incredibly purposeful, complex designs hidden all throughout our natural environment. This final thought really perfectly captures the core realization of today's analysis. On one side of the timeline, we have the sponge, existing flawlessly down in the dark, crushing depths of the ocean for hundreds upon hundreds of years. And on the other, we have humanity, which has only been desperately trying to unravel its complex mechanical secrets for a mere 20 years. If a simple sea sponge holds structural secrets that completely outsmart our absolute best engineers, what other profound hidden truths are waiting out there in the world for us to look at, truly see, and finally understand? Keep questioning what you see.